Hi, I'm George Lindars-Hammond. I'm a councillor here in Hillsborough Ward, and I'm also the Cabinet Member Health and Social Care for Sheffield Council. Sheffield Council had a very comprehensive campaign of communication with Sheffielders during lockdown. That covered many things. Naturally, the most important thing we covered was how to remain safe. That was our one major message, but we absolutely highlighted that the importance and the availability of outdoor living and the impact on people's health is a very important aspect of that. During lockdown, we know that one of the few things you could do was get out for some exercise, and the number of people that have a really high quality open green space like this on their doorstep meant that you could go out for your hour and reach somewhere like Hillsborough Park or in the hundreds of other open spaces you have across the city, and that can only have had a positive impact compared to what I do feel very sorry for people living perhaps some parts of urban London where that access to green space was poorer.
My name is Rachel Bennett. I'm the lead ranger based here at Longshore. I work for the National Trust in the Peak District. So charities like the National Trust who have lots of land and gardens and outdoor spaces for people to enjoy, we've tried to do as much as possible to make sure people feel safe to come out firstly, so making sure that things are cleaned and people feel that they're being looked after while they're in our spaces. People wanted to come here during lockdown because I think it's all to do with, you're cooped up, you're in your house, you live in the city or you live in a suburb, you've not got that much access to green space in your local area, or you might not have a garden, or you might have a garden but you want the sort of wide open spaces of the countryside that make you feel alive. I think what lockdown has really showed us is just how important having green spaces around us, even if it is in our cities or close to our cities, that it's absolutely essential for people. It's not a nice to do thing, it's essential to people's well-being.
I'm Eleanor, I'm 33. I have multiple complex heart problems and I had a stroke when I was 30, so I'm on the list of mega vulnerable people that have to stay indoors. I get up relatively early, I go on a walk about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and that's in order to be back before pedestrian foot traffic around 7:30, 8 o'clock. I was given the go-ahead to do it late June, and I'd say before that time I was kind of reaching a point where I was getting seriously depressed. It got to the point where just a variation on being in that room, even if it was only sort of around my own street, was huge, and I had to be talked out of anxiety attacks just to make the leap into sort of going around the block at first and build up from there. I think the thing about these walks that improves my mental health is the idea that everything carries on without you. Everything, at least nature-wise, is thriving still. In some senses nothing has changed, and when you're dealing with really major changes on a personal level, it's nice to stop ruminating, to get out of your head, and to be around things that seasonally shift in the ways they've always shifted, and to start to feel normal again.
My name's Amber Lee and I'm an artist. I live in Eckington and you're currently standing in my garden with me. This is my allotment that I've been growing since the start of lockdown. I've been struggling with mental health problems for a lot of my life, and I started therapy last year in November, and that's when I started growing stuff with my mom out in the garden. Being outside, you don't feel any pressure to be anything, to be anyone. You can really heal yourself in a garden. It's a place that's very forgiving, where it doesn't matter if you do something wrong, if you cut the wrong leaf, it's not the end of the world. It's a place where you can learn and grow and develop as a person without feeling guilty or sad. It's a really amazing free space to be in. So I guess really lockdown has inspired me to take this further. It's not just become a hobby or an obsession, it's become something that's taken over my life, and I feel like I really care about the environment. It's very important to me, and I think it's something that's worth spending the rest of my life working towards improving, so I leave this place better than I found it. So in sight of that, I've decided to join a course, so I'm now doing level 2 in horticulture at Barnsley College, and I started volunteering at Renishaw Hall Gardens. So I volunteer as a gardener there, and I'm learning so much about plants, and having a qualification and some voluntary work just means that I can spend all my time outside with other people and plants.
I'm Rosemary McNaught, I'm a retired doctor, and I am Amberly's mother. And I just think that I've found a soulmate in the garden, and that the benefit of lockdown for me is that I've now, the head gardener has an under gardener. I have someone to share my passion with, and when you are passionate about something, sharing it is so important. And as we said, we won't be going back from here. The garden will reap the benefits. It will be getting more and more beautiful. Now there's 2 of us to look after it, not just one of us. And also we've always been very close, and this in fact brings us even closer because we have now a shared passion. If I'm ever upset or worried about something, I will come out into the garden, and within 10 minutes of grubbing around in the soil and pulling up weeds, I've actually completely calmed down and I'm lost in a world of my own.
My name is Patsy Seddon. I'm a community mental health worker at Pitsmore Surgery. I work closely with the organisation SAGE that support people with horticultural therapy. What goes on in the brain, I think, when we're out in nature is it has a calming effect. It gives us a sense of being part of something. So, and maybe a small piece of that, which can help us feel like not everything's so overwhelming. We felt, from maybe a more of an instinctive point of view, that it was really important for people to get back out, because we know that isolation plays a big part in people's poor mental health. So being isolated, and especially isolated indoors, was a real problem for a lot of people. So encouraging them to go for walks or get in their garden was a real big thing.